Let's go to Ari Goldberg. He is an Israeli political commentator, and he's joining us live from Tel Aviv. Ari, thank you very much for staying with us. We have seen a massive escalation against Hezbollah over the past few weeks. We've been reporting on all of the reaction from the US to the latest developments. Do you think that the Israeli escalation has anything to do with the fact that there are 5 weeks to go to the US election? Joe Biden is seen as a lame duck president. The administration is distracted with the election.
I'm sure that is on Prime Minister Netanyahu's mind. However, I don't know if Netanyahu has a vision that exceeds 5 weeks into the future anyway. I don't think this is a ploy or a strategic manipulation. I think it's certainly considered, or Netanyahu considers it a good thing and hopes for a Trump presidency, but I don't think that is what the fate of this new escalation and incursion and potential invasion hinges on.
And do you think that the limited, what they are calling a limited operation, what do you see as their intentions here? Because we've seen attacks all over Lebanon and not just in the south.
The attacks all over Lebanon, I think, are connected to Israel checking targets off its so-called target bank. I think that's what Israel is doing. Israel is making the most of operational opportunities that present themselves because of the chaos Israel has sown in Beirut with its series of assassinations. I think the operation on the border is, at least as far as Israel is concerned, indeed going to be localized as much as possible. I don't think Israel wants rockets in Tel Aviv. I don't think Israel wants ground confrontation with Hezbollah fighters on their own terrain. I think Israel wants to do this. Israel is making these incursions for a very specific reason. It wants to make the citizens that it evacuated from the north part of the country after October 7th, it wants to make them feel safe. It wants to make them feel like they can go home and thus resolve a major, major political problem for Prime Minister Netanyahu. That, I think, is Israel's main motivation. Everything else we're seeing in Lebanon is, again, this is very much par for the course as far as the Israeli mindset is concerned. This is taking care of business, if you will.
And you say that Israel doesn't want to see rockets falling on Tel Aviv. We have seen that in the last few hours, and Hezbollah has said that it's only the beginning. How do you expect Israel to respond to that? Or are we already seeing the response?
Yes, I think Israel is now locked into a course of action. I don't think we can see or expect any other response. And I mean, truthfully, what would it matter? Israel is already committing criminal actions in Lebanon. Its bombings are killing hundreds of civilians every day. I don't see how Israel can escalate that. As far as the operation on the border goes, I think Israel is very careful and very much wants to keep this on the sly, to not let any sort of information about what it is actually doing there get out. For me, that is another indication that the real purpose of this operation is not some kind of strategic or tactical move against some known target, but much more of a spin/PR movement to show that Israel is operating and to make Israeli citizens take the government and the military at their word, which is something Israelis have had difficulties doing after the massive failures of the past year.
And Ari, when you talk about, you say that Israel is committing criminal actions in Lebanon. That's certainly something we've already heard today from international law experts. Israel is being investigated at the International Court of Justice for genocide. The International Criminal Court is seeking arrest warrants for the Prime Minister and Defense Minister. Does none of this worry the Israeli government? Why aren't they deterred by this?
That's a very good question. The only explanation I have is, I think, more in the realm of collective psychology than it is politics or geostrategy. I think what has happened to Israel over the past year, as it embarked on its genocidal campaign in Gaza, is that Israel has lost both every sense of proportion it ever had, and also any kind of regard or concern for the view of the world towards Israel. I think Israel is now in a state that I think of as solipsism, a position where the person or the collective believe that they are the only real people on earth, that everything else is a production staged for their benefit. Israel is playing its own game by its own rules, It doesn't expect understanding. It doesn't seek it. All it wants is to get the job, the tasks that it has set itself carried out and done. And that's why Israel is ignoring the world, the ICC, the ICJ, even its allies in Washington. This will all come back to haunt Israel. All of Israel's chickens will come home to roost. But at the moment, Israel, very, very simply, as is evidenced by its complete lack of regard for civilian life, Israel doesn't care.
Ari, thank you so much for your insights on this. We really appreciate it. That is Ari Goldberg, live in Tel Aviv.
Thank you for having me.
Still ahead on Al Jazeera, we'll be live from Tehran as our coverage of the Israeli offensive into southern Lebanon continues.